It is a short week for the Buffalo Bills as they do move to 7-3, and we'll now get ready to take on the Houston Texans down in Houston for Thursday Night Football. Do stay tuned. Sal Capaccio is going to join the show at 4:30. Before that, we'll also hear from head coach Sean McDermott. He'll speak with the media at 4, and some injury notes. Wide receiver McCole Hardman. He was ruled out yesterday with a calf injury, so we'll see how serious that is, and if there are any other injuries when McDermott does speak. Though Week 11 is going to wrap up tonight with Monday Night Football. Raiders do host the Dallas Cowboys. Kickoff at 8:15. You can listen to that game over on our sister station, the Bet 1520, with coverage beginning just after 7:30. Some bad injury news for Atlanta. Quarterback Michael Penix is being put on IR with a knee injury, and the belief right now is that it will be season-ending, while wide receiver Drake London is undergoing an MRI to understand the severity of his PCL sprain. He is expected to miss at least this week. Eagles offensive tackle Lane Johnson expected to be out 4 to 6 weeks and could land on IR due to a foot injury, while Packers running back Josh Jacobs considered day-to-day with a knee injury and could miss this week as surgery is not needed. And then we do have a quarterback switch for the Jets as Justin Fields goes to the bench and Tyrod Taylor becomes the starter. Their next game, they will be taking on Baltimore. Sabres game night tonight. Buffalo does host Edmonton at 7. Pre-game starting at 6. Both, of course, right here on WGR. Colton Ellis looks to get the start in net tonight. And then some injury notes, according to head coach Lindy Ruff. Jason Zucker could return this weekend. Josh Norris is ahead of schedule after practicing in a non-contact jersey today. And then Michael Kesselring is getting more evaluations and is expected to be out a good bit longer. Then in college hoops, Niagara, they are on the road versus Lemoyne. Tip-off at 7. That game can be heard over on AM 1400. And Canisius also on the road tonight, also tipping off at 7. They will be taking on High Point. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Rolls to his right, pocket collapsing, comes back to his left, heaves it down the left sideline for Shavers in the end zone for a touchdown. A broken play goes for 6.
It's so freaking cool. The guy just continues to work extremely hard. He's never once complained, working from practice squad to now making legit plays in the NFL.
Tunnel screen. Ty Johnson threw a hole and up the sideline. 40, 35, 30. It's a foot race. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Ty Johnson. Back to pass. Steps up in the pocket. Looks for Cook on the wheel route. And he's into the end zone. The Cook is in the kitchen.
Guys make plays. Shaves made a heck of a play. Ty Johnson down the sideline just outrunning people. And then Jimbo making a heck of a catch for that touchdown there too. So it takes everybody.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Pretty safe, I think, to say that of these this continuing discussion we have this season before and after games about winning Bills scores that would annoy you. 44-32 isn't one of them, probably?
No.
Is this what we all wanted?
I think
bring back those turnovers, baby. Let her rip.
I think so. Chaos. I think we wanted some chaos.
Let's even maybe hope the defense is bad so I can have to go harder on offense.
You might not have to hope.
No, you might not have to hope.
It might just be bad.
It might be the reality.
Yeah.
Football Monday on WGR, brought to you by Northwest Bank. For what's next, get started at northwest.com. Really, though, isn't this kind of what we ordered at the restaurant here for the last month, year, 3 years, whenever it started? Mm-hmm. That, it's basically when Brady took over, mostly, that the Bills went more run-heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And here was a game where they could not afford to do that for 2 reasons. They couldn't run it, and they couldn't stop the Bucs. So go get it. I don't think, though, how they played was really an accident or a byproduct of all that. I think there was some of this that they wanted to do.
Oh, I think that's right. Yes.
New personnel.
Yeah. New personnel, new receivers specifically. And maybe the first clue was last Monday when Brady talked about regretting not trying to throw earlier in the Miami game. Sort of feeling like they had forced the run when Miami was begging them to throw it over them, and they really didn't get the hint. And they ended up, kind of having a futile 3 quarters, really a futile afternoon in its entirety. You could maybe have arrived at they're probably going to throw it on this team. But, I don't know how optimistic I would have been thinking about what the results would be because they haven't been able to do that even when they've tried. And the way it started, it didn't start great. Like, no, the blitz.
Uh-oh.
Like what? I've got 2-hand chest passes out of my own end zone for tiny little interceptions, and like, oh no, this is a guy with a reputation. Bowles, the coach of Tampa, with a rep for exotic and heavily blitzing, and so I was pretty nervous about that, but they found it. They got there. They picked that stuff up the rest of the game, and I don't think Tampa was as aggressive as they started, maybe, in the game.
Well, in terms of blitzing?
Yeah.
Maybe. I think the Bills are pretty lucky that coaching-wise, they're not. Game management-wise, they're not aggressive at all. Even Allen throws that, I like how Matt Waldman termed it, that inbounds pass interception.
Right.
In the beginning. And they just ran up the middle twice and then kind of a low percentage pass play. That's the best you got. Don't these teams know who they're dealing with? When they play the Bills, don't they know who they're dealing with? They really don't. Like Mayfield, he's cool. Like he is good and tough and just, he's not running, but now he's running for touchdowns.
Right, he didn't run in weeks.
He's a guy that I don't know about the whole thing, but you can win with him. Don't you think? Like,
oh yeah,
they're depleted at receiver.
Yeah, I don't think he's not. I don't think he's ever going to be. He had a little dalliance with the MVP odds earlier this year, but that's cooled off. I don't think he's ever going to reside in the top tier of quarterbacks in the NFL, but he is definitely a guy you can win with, and not in like an Andy Dalton kind of way.
No,
I think he's someone who's capable of doing really big things.
He might be top 10.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So. That's good enough for most teams. Do the math, I guess. Most of the league would trade for that, would prefer to have Mayfield at quarterback. So I've got that, but couple of wimpy punts and just, I didn't like that at all from Tampa. This is not at all, of course, if I have to say so, a criticism of the Bills, but they get that pick right away. And yes, this was a game where they ran through the Bills quite often. So they just thought they could do it? Goal line is tougher, though. I don't know. Not impressed. They did the little things wrong in this game that sometimes we end up harping on with the Bills, but the Bills mostly don't. They mostly don't get undone by doing these kind of little things wrong more often than their opponents do. That's not the biggest takeaway from this game. That punt late was awful.
By Tampa, yeah.
7.5 minutes, I'm down 2 or 3 at near midfield, and I'm just going to punt. Why? What do I think is going to happen? I can't get a stop.
I think you know the answer to that.
It's just so bad. I went out for like an hour after I left postgame last night, and I ran into Bucs fans.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
They live on the island, apparently.
What?
It must be the water. They live on the island, and they're Bucs fans, and we started talking about the game. I'm like, you know what? If I were you guys, wouldn't I be ticked at this loss? It was a fun game, and you were close. But
9 lead changes.
Would this game bother you? And they're like, absolutely. And then I was thinking of a tweet I saw from Maggie Gray, whether, or was that from this morning, whenever. There was a tweet I'm thinking of it now, where she asked people if they enjoy watching their favorite team. Like, if you're a Tampa fan, it might have been a fun afternoon, but.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
didn't enjoy most of yesterday.
No.
I was really tense most of yesterday, and I don't like admitting that, but that's what, losing to Miami will do for you. You start thinking like every crisis is because this era of the Bills has been mostly I'm just expecting them to get it done when I sit down to watch a game. Even if they're losing, I just think, all right, they'll just do the thing, and I'll have to talk about how bad they were, but they won. That's basically what I'm often thinking when the game is not in hand for them. But you lose a couple, and you've got a consistent problem in one specific area, passing game, a pretty significant area to be deficient in, and that leaves me feeling pretty tense. Until the Bills pulled away in this game at the end, I was uneasy. So I would imagine Bucs fans, I mean, they didn't get to pull away at the end. They ended up losing in a game that they were ahead in the fourth quarter. So I would be annoyed, I think, probably.
Not a huge game, although they are only now a half game ahead of Carolina somehow in the NFC South. 803-0550 for your thoughts. Football Monday. Does this game, even like to a certain extent, satisfy to all the people who are all the time annoyed with how the Bills play? So they benched Coleman, and it didn't take long at all in the post-game press conference for Sean McDermott to get questions about Keon Coleman. He didn't really want to say that much about it. Ultimately, later in the press conference, this is last night, he says that the ball's going to find the guys who work the hardest, words to that effect. And so they're playing on Thursday night, 44 points. Allen, 3 passing, 3 rushing. Do you think they'll do anything?
And all the guys that
lineup?
you could, Shavers has been playing pretty regularly anyway, but I assume he got more reps because of no Coleman in this game, and he paid you off. Davis paid you off. Even McCole Hardman, he made a mistake, but he also jump-started you with a kick return early in the game, and, did the thing, like ran one deep pass that was missed. But did you happen to notice, I was looking at already, the cut-ups are making the rounds. That play, Allen throws it to Hardman. He's open enough. So he ignores Shakir. You want wide open? Watch the overhead shot of that play. Because Shakir runs like a crosser about halfway between the line of scrimmage and where Hardman ends up. And there is no one around him for miles. Because the speed, like Hardman comes streaking up the field and pulls a second DB out of that area to go with. Now, I don't know if the guy noticed where the ball was going by then or what, but it's just the speed. I think they got paid off by making the changes they made, specifically Coleman getting benched and Davis getting elevated and Hardman being in the lineup. We'll see if he's healthy. Short week here, and he did injure himself and make a pretty big mistake. But I'm not eager to run Coleman back out there right now.
Why would they do it?
Right. I mean, unless it's just simply numbers and he's the next guy that would be up if something is wrong with Hardman.
Man, it was tough yesterday with McDermott. He was asked who wouldn't have played if you'd played Coleman, and he wouldn't answer. Like, he just, I think you saw the game. Like, simple question. Maybe he obviously doesn't want to answer it, or else he just would have. But who wouldn't have played if you had played Coleman? Well, I think you saw who was out there. What's the answer, though? I wonder what the answer is.
It's either,
Hardman plays.
Either Hardman or Davis, I think, are the guy. Because Shavers, we've talked. I guess maybe Samuel, but Shavers
maybe
is
Samuel.
in. Shavers is locked. He's locked in because he plays all those special teams roles, and there's not another receiver on the team that does that. So he is not coming out. With or without the touchdown catch, but now with it, it's all the more he's going to be in the lineup. So I think it's one of the two guys that came in, or Samuel.
I think, I don't know if this is right, but for all of this receiver stuff and passing game stuff, it really could not have been much of a better day, because not only did you light it up, but you did it through different guys. And if you look at the route percentages from yesterday, you know who ran the most routes for the Bills yesterday? Knox. Oh, okay. Like, would that not surprise you to hear like Knox was the most frequent route runner on the team yesterday? 82%. Shakir was 68%. Nobody else was over 50. All the other guys were here and there. Shavers, Samuel, Davis, Hardman. Is that the whole list? I think that's the whole list. Mm-hmm. All of them, I saw this from J.J. Zacharyson today, each one of those guys, those 4 guys, ran either 15 or 16 routes. I wonder, we always talk about this, wonder about this kind of thing with the Bills since they got so good, is how much of what they're doing is sort of a test balloon. We want to see this player try this. And, a couple of these touchdowns are, I don't know if you'd call them broken plays necessarily. The Shavers one has got to be called that.
Sure.
Johnson, maybe not. But sort of like,
Yeah, no, that's a design. That's a design play. The Cook play is a design play. The Johnson play is just it's a swing pass, screen pass. They got receivers out there to block, and it worked perfectly. Yeah, Shavers though was a kind of a scramble.
On Shavers, Allen said, I think after the game he probably should have thrown the ball to one or two other guys.
Yes.
On that play. So you got to see what all these different players can do. Davis for the first time back, and then. I mean, Shavers has been playing, but still elevated role. Samuel and Hardman for the first time ever. So you get to see some of what we can work with if you're the Bills, going forward. But Knox at 82%. No Kincaid.
Right.
Remember him?
Yeah.
No Kincaid in this game either. And that makes sense that Knox would be on top here. So, or at least in terms of tight ends. And, credit to me for starting Jackson Hawes in a league.
Oh, good work. Yeah.
0.0.
Yeah. I don't even think you got a target.
Yeah, well, you win some, you lose some. Usually you lose. 7-3 now. Huge win. If it's a loss here, then we're kind of in Chiefs territory now. It's like, all right, well, we're almost to Thanksgiving. Now what? Would you forget about the division? Kansas City, 9-2, 5-5. Is the difference there. And you've got the Chargers in between for what it's worth. So at what point do you sort of give up on the division? I think a loss yesterday would have gotten me there. Now it's just get in time. 6-4. And I've got the Chargers and the Jaguars and the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Steelers and the first place team. Right. Even Houston. Like I've got a lot of traffic. But with this win, I'm not there at all.
Yeah, I'm two games clear of the teams that are out right now, is where I am. So
I've beaten two of them.
Right. If I don't catch New England for the division, I'm at least in, as long as I don't end up on the rocks here again, they're in a pretty decent spot right now. Not ideal, obviously. You'd want to be in first place. I mean, last year at this time, we were getting ready to switch to glide as far as the division goes. I mean, they clinched on December 1st. We're only a couple of weeks out from that, for crying out loud. That's how well last year went. So you still have to catch up, but, the only way you can do this is keep winning and hope you can get to week 15 with a chance to, at worst, tie them, maybe find your way to pass them. But with their schedule, that doesn't seem real likely that you could pass them in week 15, I mean.
No, but that should be a great day, New England. Mm-hmm. That rematch, that's really good. I mean, there's going to be a lot riding on it. First things first is this game Thursday night in Houston. C.J. Stroud, there should be news on that any minute on him. As of earlier today, reportedly had not cleared concussion protocol, but they practice today and tomorrow, and there'd still be time for him to do so and start against the Bills. Does it matter?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, he's the most talented guy they've got. I mean, I know it's been a lot bumpier since his rookie year when he kind of really took the league by storm, but if you're asking me do I care whether I got to play C.J. Stroud or Davis Mills on Thursday? I'll take Davis Mills, thank you. So yeah, I think it matters. I'm not exactly on edge. There's nothing I can do about it. There's no need to be intense about it, but I'm very curious to see what his status is as the week unfolds.
Get to know Woody Marks, I guess. Took over the backfield yesterday. They survived in a game against the Titans. Bills are up to a 4-point favorite, even 4.5 I saw in one place against the Texans on Thursday night. Watching Bet Sweats today. That's how I get a lot of my information about point spreads. Mm-hmm. Some of it's just like sort of I think of it and then I check my app. And some of it is from watching Sam and Joe. And Sam had a quote, the other side of this coin here with the Bills, that we definitely should have gotten to by now. He had a quote today that I made a note of here for our show. Quote, how many Super Bowl teams can't get stops? Sam Panayotovich, November 17th, 2025. Like, he's invested in the Bills. He tells us every Friday. Yep. Like, that's his Super Bowl bet. And their conversation about the Bills today was more like, it's not the most confidence I've ever had in a team.
Yeah, no. I mean, this came up yesterday, and I think I plainly said to a caller who asked, like, this is not a Super Bowl winning defense right now. Like they are not playing like a Super Bowl winning defense. What can change? I don't really know. Like the only reinforcement you're looking at this point is Ed Oliver, and that isn't until the playoffs and maybe even into the playoffs. And that's it. Like as far right, the trade deadline's come and gone, and they grabbed a guy off waivers or whatever off a practice squad. Fox, maybe he plays some role, but there's not a difference maker rolling through the door at any point here. So they're going to have to figure out what they're doing with who they've got, and I think that gets trickier all the time. They got T.J. Sanders, who hasn't really done much at all when he was healthy earlier in the season as a tackle, playing largely at defensive end yesterday. And, that didn't seem to bear a lot of fruit as far as stopping the run goes anyway. So I think they're trying things. Dorian Williams, I think, did get some reps, as Eric Wood suggested 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when Hoyt first got hurt. That maybe Dorian Williams can be someone to turn to in that kind of role, and I think he did a little of that yesterday. So they might be at this point. I mean, they don't have a lot of time to just tinker. I mean, they got to win these games, but they are probably turning over every stone they can to try to find an in-house solution to a consistent problem, which is stopping the run. I mean, there are worse things to be bad at. I think in the NFL, I would say being bad against the pass is one of them. But still, I mean, if a team can just do that to you repeatedly, I mean, you're gonna have a tough time.
I know. Yeah, almost everybody on the defense at one point or another yesterday was like, "Oh no." Milano early in the game was like, "Oh no," getting sort of walled off by a tackle. I mean, whatever. He had some good plays. Bernard is another one. Like, oh.
That is not a healthy looking football player right now to me. Like there was a bad moment for him chasing someone to the sideline that was just
Mayfield.
That was right. It was Mayfield. That's right. That was really tough to watch.
Mayfield just blasted around him on the edge to the sideline.
And he just could not even close the gap on him.
Right.
But he really is laboring, I think. He must be fighting through something.
We talked about Poyer on postgame. I mean, it's kind of incredible that he's on the field for them right now, but 15 tackles, you don't want that, but at least he did that.
Made them,
for you.
Right.
Other times, one of the Tucker touchdowns is like, goodbye.
Yep.
It's concerning, but then you get that kind of an Allen game, and all is well. Well, on that side of the ball, at least, most fans have to feel a lot better, I think, knowing that that's still a club in the Bills' bag.
Yeah, encouraging was the word I used yesterday. What was yesterday? Encouraging. Because they found a way to do a thing that they have had a lot of trouble this year doing. When they have felt even in games where they haven't needed it, the passing game has looked just sort of sloppy and not in sync. And you think to yourself, man, when I need this, because I'm not always going to get 7 yards on first down, like as a rule.
Funny thing.
And so, running it, I mean. And so they're going to need it. And yesterday was really, I mean, they had a very good plan and an effective day moving the ball through the air against Kansas City. But I think yesterday was even different than that. Just because it was pushing it down the field. I mean, there's a rather long list for the Bills this year of guys who had 20-plus yard receptions in this game yesterday. And that has not been happening much at all.
Eric Wood and Sal Capaccio later on as we go through the day. Eric at 4 as usual. Maybe we'll hear from you next. 803-0550. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Football Monday on WGR.
for C.J. Stroud to clear, and I think there's a real question as to whether he would go on Thursday night against Buffalo. I think there's a real possibility C.J. Stroud will miss his third straight game, and it'll be Davis Mills again on Thursday night.
Adam Schefter. Again, the Texans are supposed to practice today, and we'll find out if there's any sort of change on that front. Texans over the Titans in a close one yesterday. So Houston now is, they're 5-5.
Mm-hmm.
They're in it. Kansas City is 5-5. Baltimore is 5-5. All on the outside of the AFC playoff picture, with 7 teams at winning records, including Jacksonville, which buried the Chargers in the biggest blowout of the day yesterday. Classic Chargers. What a hilarious bit that they've been going with for decades. Whenever you think they might be good, this.
Or to Jacksonville, too.
I know. Just like
not the Chiefs, not, Jacksonville.
Favored at Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. Football Monday on WGR. Eric Wood at 4, Sal at 4:30 today. The Sabres are home tonight to Edmonton. Pre-game at 6. Let's go to Rick here. Hi, Rick.
Hi, how you guys doing today?
Great. Thank you for calling.
I got a couple questions for you. Do you think Keon Coleman's on his way out of Buffalo?
Yes.
And he might be a bust. I don't want to prejudge him. And what did you guys think of Gabe Davis? I thought he looked pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, I think it worked. Davis, there's a comfort there. No accident right away in the game. Allen on a scramble finds Davis. They have an ability to work together in that way. So I don't think there's any reason to take him back out as long as he came through the game healthy. And yeah, I think Coleman is in real trouble. I'm sitting here today. I don't know about everyone's health. I think if they have enough people who played yesterday who are healthy, I don't think Coleman goes right back in. They may want to just sort of see if he gets the message or whatever, but I think to get to the point where you make him inactive, this has been bubbling around for long enough, and McDermott had enough, and they made a move. It doesn't mean he has to be gone forever, but unless he really does something dramatic to change their view of him right now, which to me is, we don't trust you. You hear Deion Dawkins talking after the game yesterday. Those are big, tough words. Time to grow up is basically what Dawkins said. He said it in a kinder voice than I just used, but the message matters here. So if he doesn't, it sounds to me like he's got work to do to earn their trust back, to get in the lineup, to let alone be trusted to make plays. So I think, yes, we could be overreacting, but I'd been hearing for a while that they were really frustrated with him because of his lack of attention to details and being where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. So I think his spot on this roster is in peril. Yes.
I wouldn't say different, but thinking about the Davis side of that and McCole Hardman, I'm not going to sound as enthusiastic as your friends maybe necessarily about this, because this is not trading for Jalen Waddle. This is diving into waivers and your practice squad. And, if Davis pushes all the right buttons, chemistry and, professional, all the kinds of things that we liked about Davis when he was here, then great. But I'm not ready to assume it's going to dramatically change their passing game or their offense just because he isn't Coleman. But yesterday was a very good day for them, and Davis was a part of that. Somebody had him for first touchdown and kind of went off his hands.
That's really too bad. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate
that's
the
sentiment. Close call there. Yeah.
20 for 560.
Yeah, it would have been nice.
Would have been nice.
That's a nice hit.
Plus 20.
And
it wasn't.
It was very close. Yeah, he's never been my favorite, but I think it's important to remember, or maybe even, I don't know, for what it matters to people out there, where we stood on Davis. Like, I mostly just never wanted to pay him a second contract. I didn't think that was going to be a good idea. And I think it did not go well in Jacksonville with him getting big money, but him being on the roster never was a huge problem to me. I just didn't want to pay him. When it was time to pay him, to me, that was time to walk away. And so I supported that decision. Him back now, like, I'm also not expecting him to elevate the Bills' passing game through the roof. He was never, he said, he's had his big days and big plays here. But he was never that guy to me that was going to, like, push this passing game to, just unforeseen heights or something. But in a role, I think he has a place. And I do think the trust factor is a big deal. Like, he'll just wait. If he plays regularly, he'll drop the ball. Like, that happened. It happened when he was here the first time. But he's going to show up. He's going to be where he's supposed to be. And the quarterback believes in him to get open when he is running around off script. And so he will look for him and find him. And I don't think Allen has that kind of faith in Coleman at all. I think Allen starts running around and Coleman is just a sinkhole to him. So there's value in that. I mean, again, I don't want to live off script, but that's a part of the chaos. That's a part of what yesterday was. Off script worked for you well enough.
You know what else was interesting about their putting up that game? Allen's over 300, 3 passing touchdowns, 44 points, no Kincaid, no Coleman. What was Shakir? 1 for -3. And sample size. But Shakir has been a part of the problem for me, imagining the Bills evolving into the passing offense we all dream about, because he's on the field a lot. He runs more. Yesterday, even, it was 68% of the routes. I mean, more than 2 out of 3. And he had 1 catch for negative yardage. He's blocking other possibilities in his role, just as Kincaid is. And Coleman, by his draft status, kind of was. So if you're willing, and this is not to say that Shakir, will be reduced necessarily, but if you're willing to swallow hard and kind of forget about who everybody was, what you're paying everybody, just sort of like, all right, what's our best recipe right now? Then maybe all these guys get to different degrees, not a demotion, but have a lesser role in terms of targets. Like, I don't know, maybe Shavers ends up being somebody that gives you a big play element more than just like once a year, Does Davis get targets? They're throwing to the running backs again yesterday after doing that in Miami, I think somewhat out of desperation in Miami. And then you have Palmer, and that didn't really hit yesterday, but I think he's important to them.
Yeah. I think if Coleman if he didn't represent what he represents, I think he would have been on the bench sooner. But they I think, would be there's 2 things you might be trying to accomplish here. Ideally, he becomes a productive, helpful member of your receiving corps. So you want to keep playing him. You also want to keep playing him so as to not crater whatever he's worth. Because at least if he's on the field and playing but not producing, teams could, the situation, he didn't have chemistry with the quarterback, not a scheme fit, we'll use him in the slot, whatever. Some team out there that liked him just fine in the draft process could still maybe, you maintain his value and maybe you can do some business in the offseason. You pull him out of the lineup, and this is important to remember moving forward about when and if he returns to the lineup, because they do have a business to run. Yes, they want to win games and put their best guys on the field, but they also, I think, if they have reached a point of no return with him, I think still would want to recoup something. I mean, he was the first pick of the second round. So I think he'll play again. I just don't think it'll be on a short week coming off of that game.
Mm-hmm. And there usually are injuries, too, to have to deal with.
Might already be one with Hardman.
Just kind of surreal. It's just weird that we're at a point right now that we're talking about Hardman perhaps in the past tense, off an injury or the fumble or just, wait, when did you get here? Oh, you're gone? Just right. I mean, he's not gone, but just moves. It moves like it moves. Here's Jordan next. Hi, Jordan.
Hey, Shelby, Bulldog. Happy Bills victory Monday. How we doing, fellas?
Great. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, man, no problem. Just real quick on Gabe. It's funny you guys are just talking about the past, right? Happy that Gabe is back with us. I feel like that guy is hungry as ever. Granted, we're the team that drafted him. He's the guy that we took a leap on him. What was it, round 5 a couple years back? But, we're literally all he knows. I mean, the poor guy got hurt in Jacksonville, whatnot. But I feel like that guy is happy to be back home. He's comfortable. And I feel like the best thing for Josh right now is comfort, right? Going back to the guys he's used to, throwing it, hoping the guys are there in the spots they're supposed to be. I just feel like that everything with Keon's been a little bit of a question mark. Granted, we took him in the first or second round, and we'll see what he can do. I feel for the guy, but he's got to figure it out himself. And why not give it to Gabe? If he's hungry and ready to go, let him do it. Let him do his thing. And I think he's going to be great for us down the road. He's big game Gabe for a reason, and I got a good feeling about it. So I'll hang up and let you guys chit-chat about it. But I think he's where he needs to be right now.
Okay, I guess we'll find out. Thanks, Jordan. Eric Wood coming up at 4. Your boy Michael Penix is hurt.
Yeah. That hasn't gone well. No. At least it's not the knee that he hurt twice in his 6-year college career.
I guess that's good.
Is that a silver lining? I don't even. It's a lining.
It's really not fair. Maybe it is. You have in the draft a trade that most of the people, at least in my world, the people I respect their analysis when it comes to the draft. I'm not talking about people that say, you can't grade the draft for 3 years. Well, what's the point of doing it in 3 years? You're not supposed to know the future. It's about process and draft value and knowing what to do and what's ridiculous. Houston made a trade with Arizona. Wasn't it Arizona?
Mm-hmm.
To get up for Will Anderson when they drafted Stroud. And they won their division. They were not predicted to, but they won their division. And Stroud might have been the offensive rookie of the year. And Anderson, I don't know if he was defensive rookie of the year, but he was really good.
He was in the running, yeah.
And they have this unforeseen good season. You don't hear a lot about this trade that was pretty bad math by the Texans to do that for a defensive player. However, Atlanta, not as high rent, but does almost the same thing with the Rams in this draft. And here they are at 3-7, and the quarterback's out, and maybe London's going to be out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a disaster of a season. Nobody's even really that good there. The Bills win is their one good game. Yeah. Miami blows them out at home. 3-7, and they're down their guys. Maybe they pack it in, and you look at the draft order, and the Rams have their pick.
Yeah.
And right now it's 8th. Because you had to have that second edge rusher in the first round.
And the Rams are every bit of the Super Bowl contender. Whatever. They're among the most elite teams in the league this year.
It takes a lot of the fun out of the conversation about the Falcons. Should they just tank it and get a top 5 pick? But they won't get it. They won't get the pick.
Right.
Because the Rams have the pick. So they have no incentive. You could like this. We don't want to see teams try to lose generally, but they have no incentive to lose games because of the fact that they made that trade. So when it's like this, a lot of my Twitter is, hey, everybody remember this? The Falcons traded away that pick?
Yeah, in fact, the incentive would be to avoid having as good a pick as, right? They're going to be the opposite. They're going to be going hard in week 16, 17, and 18, trying to avoid having a top 10 pick.
Because of how it looks?
Yeah.
Because they'll still have
it's
higher picks in other rounds.
Right, it's going to be the Rams' pick no matter what, but if it's 15th, that looks a little better on you. But if the draft starts and the Rams are on the screen already, you just sit down with your bowl of chips to watch the draft, the Rams are on the clock? What?
Didn't they just win?
Right. Didn't they win 13 games?
Yeah, Atlanta, not good. Eric Wood coming up at 4 here on WGR. 4, just over 10 minutes away. Suddenly feeling nostalgic about what is soon to be our carpet in here. Carpet change is on the horizon this week.
Mm-hmm.
These tears by my feet that I've been sitting basically on top of for, I think, probably more than a decade are about to be. What are they going to do with the duct tape? They're just going to throw that out? Should I cut a little piece?
I think the duct tape
for posterity souvenir.
You
want one?
I've got my own. I've got 3 different kinds of tape over here. So, do you have any of the tape with the Batman logos on it?
No.
I've got some tape with Batman logos on it. I'm not even kidding. If I could pull this camera off here, I would drag it down here and show you. Yeah, it's quite an operation over here. There's some plain like gray duct tape. There's this Batman logo tape, and then there looks like white hockey tape also.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whatever you have flying around.
It has held up this way for many, many years because this has been here for 15 years, 10 years.
Yeah, I think it's a long time.
It's been a minute. Yeah.
We've had occasional conversations about it being replaced.
Right. Now it's actually happening. There's evidence of this happening elsewhere in the building, so I'm confident it's going to actually reach this room.
The email was out today. It'll be this week.
Right.
We have a certain manager of ours will come in and notice it and be like, oh, we should do something about that. I think it's about to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
Sean McDermott is speaking now. Sal tweets, not practicing today, and it's only a walkthrough anyway, but Kincaid still no. Hardman no. Samuel no. 2 injuries for Samuel.
Neck and elbow.
Not writer's cramp or water around the knee. At least,
it's not
trying to be positive.
Right.
Mathis again. Federian Mathis is on the team. I know this because he was announced as unable to play yesterday because of injury.
And Hardman is also not practicing.
Yes.
So 2 receivers among the group not practicing. I'm looking at the limiteds. Are there any receivers on the limited list? I don't believe so. But if you're looking for an opening for Coleman to find his way back into being active on a short week, Samuel and Hardman both not practicing might be the avenue.
And Elijah Moore. He didn't play either. So if you
but he's not right. He could.
If you need 2 spots filled,
sure, right. That's right.
That are new from yesterday. Those would be the names you would think, unless they go out and get MVS back or some other Claypool type. You see how many passes Jacoby Brissett completed yesterday?
47.
47 completions, 15 to Michael Wilson, which is more than double Marvin Harrison Jr.'s best game yet, ever.
Right, that was a primetime game where he caught 6 recently, was his career high.
7 is his career high, I believe.
He has. Oh, okay, sorry. I remember him getting to 6 being his career high, maybe finished with 7. Okay.
It's not. You can't tell me either that the Cardinals, it's because they're always winning. So they don't need to throw passes.
That's not how that works, no.
They did lose big yesterday, but I picked up a lot of Michael Wilson. Didn't usually start him, thinking that maybe Harrison would be out a while, appendicitis. But wow, 18 targets, 15 catches. Better than Devontae Adams gave you yesterday, Bulldog. Although, unlike Wilson, Adams scored a touchdown.
Yes.
8 targets, 1 catch, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. Adams. I guess you'll take it. What else? What choice do you have? The Sabres are home tonight to Edmonton pregame at 6. Eric Wood next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. Football Monday on WGR.
Week for the Buffalo Bills. They'll get ready to take on the Houston Texans for Thursday night football. So just a walkthrough practice this afternoon, and 4 players did not practice according to head coach Sean McDermott: Curtis Samuel, McCole Hardman, Dalton Kincaid, and Fedarian Mathis. And then some notes for the Texans. Quarterback C.J. Stroud has still not yet cleared concussion protocol. We'll get more on yesterday's win and looking ahead to Thursday. Stay tuned. Sal Capaccio will join the show at 4:30. Week 11, though, is going to wrap up tonight with Monday Night Football. The Raiders do host the Dallas Cowboys. Kickoff at 8:15. You can also listen to that game over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. Coverage does start over there at 7:30. And then some injury notes around the NFL. Bad news today for Atlanta. Quarterback Michael Penix being put on IR with a knee injury. And there's a strong belief that this will be season-ending. And then wide receiver Drake London. He is undergoing an MRI today to understand the severity of his PCL sprain. He is expected to miss at least this week. And Eagles offensive tackle Lane Johnson, he is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks and could land on IR due to a foot injury. And we also have some quarterback switch going on in the AFC East. The Jets going with Tyrod Taylor there, benching Justin Fields when they take on the Baltimore Ravens. Sabres game night tonight. They do host Edmonton, 7 puck drop, pregame starting at 6, both, of course, right here on WGR. All signs pointing to Colton Ellis getting the start in net, and then there were some injury notes. According to head coach Lindy Ruff, Jason Zucker could return this weekend. Josh Norris is ahead of schedule after practicing in a non-contact jersey today. And then some bad news for Michael Kesselring. He is getting more evaluations, but is expected to be out a little bit longer. And then in college hoops, Niagara, they are on the road versus Lemoyne. Tip-off at 7. You can listen to that over on AM 1400. And Canisius also on the road and also tipping off at 7. They take on High Point. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
Sensitive area around Eric, but I wanted to ask you, or tell you and get your reaction. I think J.J. Watt is really good.
Me too.
Do you?
Yes.
I liked him a lot. That means that we listen to the TV broadcast.
Oh, awkward now. I know.
Because to listen to the radio broadcast and watch TV means I'm 2 plays apart. We've been down this road. Don't need to start a whole thing. But I liked J.J. Watt.
Here comes the lecture. Eric's going to tell us, like, my family, they do it. They try, my friends, people who care about me will make the effort to sync it up, but we can't be bothered.
That's right. Not at home.
Those that support me, yes.
Right.
Hey, Eric, let me just ask you this in a real way. So here's J.J. Watt, right? I mean, he's off the field and in the booth, and it's nice to be a star like that. He sort of just jumps right in. Seriously, how much of being good at your job in the booth as a color commentator, do you just sort of have it? Do you have to? There's obviously a lot to learn, I'm sure, but do you feel like guys who are great at it, including yourself, if you wish, are just sort of natural most of the time, or is it something where you've really got to grind to figure out how to do this well?
Well, if that truly was a compliment, thank you for saying that. But I think there is a natural aspect of it where you kind of have the gift of gab. You're comfortable on a mic. You have a sound knowledge of football. But you have to have a knowledge of football that you can relate to people. I always say, like, the best broadcasters can take their football 401 knowledge but present it in a way that it's football 101 for the listeners. Or if you're going to present the football 401 knowledge, can you explain it in a way that you just now made the audience smarter and not just completely lost them? And I think some people have a natural knack for that. I think Greg Olson does a great job of that. And oftentimes it's easier to do on TV because you can show them on a teleprompter. Yep. For me, on a radio broadcast, it's often those instances for me can often come in situations. Hey, the Bills are on the 45 here. It's 3rd and 4. If they run the football here and don't get it, Sean McDermott likely told Joe Brady before this play, you have 2 plays to get this first down. And so and that might not be a perfect example of football 401 knowledge because that might not be that extreme. But, early on with hey, Sean McDermott's calling a timeout here to create a snapshot, which the obvious thing would be, okay, we saw what they were in. Now I can coach up my guys. Sean also might be thinking, I might have just got them out of their top play call in this situation by calling a timeout in a critical situation where this defense is on the field. So a little bit easier to do on TV when you have a teleprompter to be able to explain, maybe schemes and whatnot, which I can't necessarily do all the time on a radio broadcast. But to circle back on your original question, I think some guys have a knack for it, but it's certainly something you have to work at. And then I would say most, if not all, great color analysts have a great play-by-play guy. On the radio, I'm at the mercy of, John Murphy and now Chris Brown. And luckily, I hopped right in the booth with Murph, the consummate professional. And then in his absence, Chris Brown steps right in and picks up admirably and does a great job. So to me, the Jim Nances, the Chris Fowlers in college football, those guys allow for a Tony Romo or a Kirk Herbstreit to transition into the booth a lot easier because they can set them up in ways to make them successful.
We don't have to stay here for much longer, but I'm enjoying hearing you talk about your process and making these points, Eric. One of the things I like about Watt, and he's not the only exception. Jonathan Vilma, I think, was in the booth in the Spain game. So you've got, but a defensive guy. Like a lot of guys doing your job are offensive players, quarterbacks, linemen, offensive linemen. I just like from a defensive perspective, Watt's area of expertise. I just think it sort of sets him apart a little bit.
Yeah, oftentimes the offensive guys are smarter, and so they'll transition better into the booth. But no, and I hear your point there because they're going to see the field differently, and that's as an offensive lineman, no one wants to hear me talk about the pass rush every play. So I have to train my eyes, and over time it's become a lot easier to watch more of the ball or the secondary or the routes on the outside. That's going to speak into what most fans want to hear. Now, my expertise is line play and protections and, maybe defensive schemes and how we would scheme a run play or a protection. And so I don't want to completely, take myself out of that because that's going to be some of my strong suits, but also understand that most fans want to know about what's going on with the football, the pass game, the playmakers out there.
I would just add to one of the things I liked about J.J. Watt was when an announcer has the ability to zoom out, not just play to play. This is what happened there. Here's what's happening now. But zoom out, like what's happening in this game. And at one point, he asked her, like, this is the Sean Tucker game. Like, somebody has to be like intelligent enough to like not always be fixated on how a team lined up or how they were able to execute a play, but just like back up. Collinsworth, I think, is good at this. Like last night, when was it when he started to harp on Goff ain't got it? Like it wasn't that far into the game where he's like, this is not going to work. And I think an announcer is good to be able to do that. To sort of take stock of the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, Eric, see, this spins nicely into the game. You making the comment about line play and blocking and the pass rush, because early in this game, we came into the game knowing Todd Bowles and his reputation, and we know that the Bills have had, especially like in the Atlanta Monday night game, trouble with a team that is blitzing them, which is insane to think about because Allen earlier in his career had just eaten, most of the great quarterbacks do eat the blitz alive, but they were having trouble with it. And then the game starts and you've got the two-handed chest heave from the end zone. And Allen explained after the game that I think he made a mistake and slid the protection the wrong way or something on that play, and that resulted in the pressure. Why have they been having, prior to the rest of the game, I think they did a good job handling it. What changed in that respect, and why have they been having, in your view, so much trouble with blitzes this year?
Yeah, I mean, from what, I wish I was in the meeting rooms to be able to give you a better answer there, other than the fact that at times it seems like that the defense is getting us to where they're essentially fooling Josh on the protection, and at times Josh may want a free rusher to one side, and so he can beat him with the throw on a hot, just knowing that, schematically you shouldn't be able to do that if we have guys over here. So I'm going to slide it to where you should be coming from. Oh, you came from over here. I'm going to beat you with the blitz. I'm going to beat you with the ball on the blitz. And we just haven't seen that enough this year where we're, making teams pay with those hot throws. And then, I would say when, defensive coordinators are scheming up the Bills, and what we've kind of heard is we're getting a lot of stuff that maybe they haven't shown on film and they're saving it for the Bills, understanding that they're going to have to probably do some different things to slow down this offense. And, you look at the Miami game a week ago and whatever, but as a whole, people have a tremendous amount of respect for this offense to where they're giving us some different things that maybe they haven't seen on film. So then early in the game, you have to get to the sideline and say, okay, this is a new look. This is something they haven't shown. We need to now be prepared for it in this instance. And, hey, they got us, but let's not let them keep getting us with this.
So, Eric, I think, you would probably be aware a lot of our days are spent really – the conversation seems to always get to weapons with the Bills and whether their offensive philosophy is right for a team trying to win a Super Bowl with this great quarterback. I'd say yesterday's game was largely a wet dream for those fans. If the defense's performance notwithstanding, what do you think? Is this like the new Bills again, even without Coleman, Kincaid? Shakir goes 1 for -3. You really revamped what they're doing in terms of pass receivers and do so to the tune of 44 points. I know short week here, but does the meter move for you on their offense from yesterday?
I would say so. I think they just got into some different elements out there. When you have the running backs with over 120 yards receiving, okay, maybe we need to lean into them a little bit more in the pass game and some, 2 design screens for Ty Johnson, which we haven't seen many of those this year. You have the schemed play to James Cook for the touchdown off the play fake with the orbit motion, which we've seen them throw that swing screen out to the right so many times, and Josh goes back to the left and hits James Cook for an open touchdown on the wheel route. With this cast that we have at, the receiver position and in the pass catchers that we have on this roster, especially with Kincaid out and Shakir obviously in a bunch of pain yesterday, we were going to have to do schematically some different things where we got the running backs more involved. And then Josh had a couple off-script plays where he hits, Shavers down the field, almost hit one to Curtis Samuel where it's a long play-action pass, and he's not open on the over route. He points him down the field, almost hit another long one there. And, that might be what this Bills offense looks like. And when you have 17, you could win doing those types of things.
Yeah. Are you one to welcome Chaos Josh back to the party here? Because that yesterday was not, I wouldn't say it's like a, museum quality, right? Like he had some misses. You just talked about one of the ones to Sam. It was a windy day too, in his defense, but it was kind of a funny game in that he scores. He's responsible for 6 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 3 passing. You get these big chunk plays. A lot of guys on the stat sheet with 20 or more, 20-plus yard receptions in the game, which has been pretty rare for the Bills. But it comes with, there's a couple of turnovers and there's a little harried Josh in there. But all in all, I think a net positive. How do you feel about like Chaos Josh being back?
I mean, you got MVP Josh Allen at quarterback. At times you're going to need to lean into that, especially when you looked at the way the run game wasn't effective early on. I think the ideal formula for this Bills team is a balanced attack, and that doesn't mean, run the football 50-50. It's just a balanced attack with the offensive line you have with James Cook. But, yes, give me that type of Josh Allen, especially on a day where the run game was struggling to get going in essentially a must-win game to keep somewhat of a pace with New England. And, you got to stay in the wild card even if you can't catch the Patriots. And so, at times you're going to need chaos. I like how you say chaos. You're not going to get me to start calling it chaos Josh Allen. To me, that's just – I'll say vintage Josh Allen.
Okay, all right.
Where, I heard someone call that interception early on in the game 2018 Josh Allen. But to me, Josh can do special things on a football field that not most can. And when the run game's not there, give me that guy out there making plays like that anytime.
This is pretty, specific. There was one play where Deion Dawkins got called for a false start. And I'm not sure I'm right here. I wanted to ask you. So it looked like maybe he was just going to try to draw the edge rusher offside by quickly pointing, but he moved his leg.
Right.
So they called the false start on him. But could you just sort of, it's so like this now. teams are just trying to game the rules constantly. But did you remember this play, Eric? And do you think that Dawkins was trying to get I think it was 3rd and 6 maybe, trying to get the 5 yards by just sort of like lifting up and pointing to the side just to try to see if he could get a reaction?
No, I think Dion flinched prior to that and realized he was likely going to get called. When he flinched, the defender jumped in the neutral zone, and so he pointed like, no, it was him. He made me jump off sides, but Dion had flinched first.
Okay. That could be a move, though.
Yeah, he was trying to game the system.
That could be a move, Eric.
That's what
Well, I'll say this. On the road, and we might have talked about this in the past, but on the road, I would handle the silent cadence. And so if it was on a double count, which might be 2 head bobs or me twist my head or whatever it may be, I would put my head down, pick it up, and right as I would normally snap the ball, I would take my left hand, which is not on the football, and say, Mike 52, and I'd point as fast as I could to try and get a guy to jump off sides. We were playing the Jets in 2014, the year before Rex Ryan came over, and it was 3rd and 14, and I got the defensive line to jump 3 times in a row on that. And we get the first down. Me and Rex's first conversation in Buffalo in person, he asked me, how did you get them to jump 3 times? I got to know this. I tell him it was 3 different things. One was a yell, one was a point, and the third one, I squeezed the ball with my right hand. Like I just subtly flinched my right hand on the ball to get him to move. I got the nose guard on that. And Rex thought it was hysterical that I used 3 different tactics to get his defensive line to jump off 3 plays in a row.
Which of those 3 should have been penalties? The third one, right? I mean, I think I've seen centers dinged for that, like a
moving the ball
movement.
subtly. Yeah.
But you can jerk your head up as fast as you want, and that's nothing.
So they try and police that pretty good. Now, I would go up to the officials before the game, and I would say, hey, if we're on the road, hey, have you seen our silent count on film? Whether they have or they haven't, they'll always tell you yes, because they don't. They either have seen it or they don't want to admit that they haven't seen it.
Right.
And so then I would say, okay, is there anything that stands out to you that could be a penalty? They generally say no, and I'd say, okay, make sure you warn me then if I'm coming up too fast, if I'm flinching or anything that you see to be egregious. It's just our cadence, so I don't want you to flag me without a warning, if that's all right. And they would generally work with me in those situations.
See, that's really good. You're gaining leverage just by asking that question about whether they've watched film.
I would do that with our alignments as well before the game. I'd go over to the officials and say, hey, are our tackles lined up correctly from the film that you've watched? Like, I'm building them up. I know you've studied for this game.
Yep.
Are our tackles in the proper positions? Yes. Okay, well, you tell me first if they're not. That way I can get them up on the line, receivers lined up on the line of scrimmage as well. I learned early on in my career that referees are humans as well, and they want to be treated as well as we all do. And I thought I was Mike Krzyzewski early in my career yelling at officials, and I would get flagged all the time. And then I started having a different approach where I would know their names before the game. I would go up and introduce myself, explain situations like I just told you, and then all of a sudden I just got a lot more warnings. Hey, 70, watch that left hand. I got you. I'll take care of that for you.
Yeah, good.
Savvy.
And you became a known player. I mean, you can't get away with this as a rookie so much as when you're 6-7 years in the league, probably.
Right. Speaking of 6-7
they
years.
want to hear it from a rookie for sure.
Yeah, 6-7 years in the league. Eventually you became a leader on the Bills when you were playing, Eric. As someone who was in that kind of a role, this Keon Coleman situation with him being benched for this game, we heard some tough comments from Dion Dawkins after the game about it's time to grow up. Your reaction to Coleman and how you think it might be handled internally from here.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Dion's comments, and I thought he handled it well. You know, the spotlight is on he needs to grow up. The conversation that he had prior to that was talking about, hey, I talked to him and told him we need him, and he understands that he needs to be better as well. Those instances would happen with us. We had guys that would be routinely late, and we'd have to say something and be like, hey, we're relying on you, and you're costing our team here by getting suspended or getting benched for a quarter or whatever it may be. I remember Marcel Darius got benched at one point for being late too many times. And, you got to talk to him and say, look, you're costing all of us. This is costing you a bunch of money as well, and your reputation and potential future earnings and all of that. But you're costing the team as well, and this isn't just about you here. And so, it's a shame because this is a guy who we need to be a player. I mean, with the way that with as many guys as we have paid on this football team, we need our top draft pick from last year's draft to be a player for us. And we talked about it on the roundtable yesterday, and there's a quote that always sticks with me, and it's how you do one thing is how you do everything. I don't know Keon Coleman as a person. From all indications, it seems like he's a really good dude, seems to have a fun, charismatic personality. But my perception of him right now is you're an unreliable teammate because you can't do the little things. So how do we rely on you on game day? And you have a fumble earlier this year against the Patriots, and you're not producing at a high level. And to me, it likely stems from a lack of accountability.
Eric, before you go, do you know how many sacks Myles Garrett is up to?
Ooh, I don't. I'm going to guess 14.
15 sacks in 10 games. So
I knew he had 4.5 the one game. It was like the first. He either had 4.5 or 5, and it was the most sacks by a player in a loss ever.
Right. He had 5 against Drake May 3 weeks ago. He had 4 yesterday against Baltimore. So he's got 15 with 7 games left. The NFL record is 22.5. This is a record that they're going to be gunning for. The Bills are there in 5 games. I wonder if that ends up being the one. But, I mean, he's on a better pace than even that. He's going to smash the record on this pace. He's getting 3 in every 2 games. So, I don't know how many people are aware of that because Cleveland is so bad. But 15 sacks in 10 games. 9 in the last 3.
Myles Garrett, I just have so much respect for him because he's the most talented player on the field almost every single week, and he also plays with an extremely high motor. That combination does not always happen. And at 6'4", 6'5", 290 pounds with his athleticism, he's a monster out there, and I'll give him credit because they have not put a ton of pieces around him, and it's a losing organization that doesn't have a lot of hope right now, and he's out there crushing it. All that talk this offseason where he wanted to play for a winner and all that, I guess I'm glad he's not on another AFC team, that could be hurting our potential playoff chances. But that's a guy that would look really good in red, white, and blue.
It's time to go, but I'm going to force this in. Do you think Burrow comes back now at 3-7? Does he play ever?
I'll guess yes.
Okay, I think I would too.
I don't have any information on that.
Why wouldn't he? Well, I know why he wouldn't, but is that is like a career-threatening injury or something like that?
If he's recovered, not rushing, then I think you come and play.
Just for the better draft pick, they don't need to draft a quarterback, so I would bet that he does. Also,
yeah, and you got you're not necessarily worried about the turf toe re-injuring. You're worried about a lack of mobility and him getting crushed and something else costing him games for next year.
Right. Thanks, Eric. We'll talk Thursday.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, it's our man Eric Wood on the Wester Hotline. His appearance on WGR brought to you by Northwest Bank. For what's next, get started at northwest.com. And by Northtown Kia, Western New York's #1 Kia dealer. Shop at northtownkia.com.
We'll get Sal Capaccio's take on yesterday's Bills win, plus the injury news of the day after the update. The Sabres are home to Edmonton tonight, pregame at 6. We'll have time for your calls, too, between Sal and the pregame show. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
Folks, Bulldog here, the fan.
didn't sin so long. All the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night. Said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. Oh, you seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to
It is a short week for the Buffalo Bills as they get ready to head down to Houston to take on the Texans for Thursday night football. And with that today, a walkthrough practice, and 4 players did not participate according to head coach Sean McDermott: Curtis Samuel, McCole Hardman, Dalton Kincaid, and Fedarian Mathis. And then some notes for the Texans. Quarterback C.J. Stroud, he has still not yet cleared concussion protocol. We'll get more on yesterday's win and a look ahead to Thursday. Sal Capaccio joins the show next, so do stay tuned for that. Week 11 wraps tonight, Monday Night Football. The Raiders do host the Dallas Cowboys. Kickoff at 8:15. You can listen to that game over on our sister station. The Bet 1520 coverage over there does start at 7:30. And then some injury notes around the NFL. A bad day for Atlanta. Quarterback Michael Penix being put on IR with a knee injury. The early belief there is that this could be season-ending. And then wide receiver Drake London, he is undergoing an MRI to understand the severity of his PCL sprain. He is expected to at least miss this week. And then Eagles offensive tackle Lane Johnson going to be out 4 to 6 weeks and could land on IR due to a foot injury. And then a QB change in New York. The Jets are going to go with Tyrod Taylor over Justin Fields when they take on Baltimore. Over to the hockey team, the Buffalo Sabres. It is game night. At home, they will host Edmonton. 7 p.m. puck drop, 6 p.m. pregame, both right here on WGR. Colton Ellis looks to get the start in net. Then some injury notes according to head coach Lindy Ruff. Jason Zucker could return this weekend, while Josh Norris is ahead of schedule and after participating in a non-contact jersey at practice today. Although not some good news for defenseman Michael Kesselring. He is getting more evaluations and is expected to be out still a little bit longer. And in college hoops, Niagara on the road versus Lemoyne. Tip-off at 7 over on AM 1400. And Canisius also in action. They are also on the road and tipping off at 7. They will be taking on High Point. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Sal Capaccio.
Filling up right behind the Bills bench right now with their flags and their hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Let's go Buffalo chant.
It's Sal Capaccio.
Bulldog gets the win, making the Bills minus 5.5. It went up.
Yeah.
You got some closing line value.
I had it on FanDuel at 6.5 yesterday. I should have bet it on Friday when it was 5.5. But it mattered. It covered.
Did not end up mattering.
Regardless.
Wasn't a rocking chair.
No.
Close game. Fun game with the Bucs. Sal Capaccio with us now on the West Her hotline. Is fun a good word for yesterday? We wanted fun. We wanted, not everyone, but the Bills to sort of return to the, who cares about turnovers life. And they did that in the end successfully.
Thought yesterday was fun from a standpoint of a really good football game. It wasn't really fun, I think, if you were kind of riding the emotions of the Bills, particularly, or even the Buccaneers, I guess, especially. But, yeah, it was a fun game. It was a fun game. And, it's one of those back-and-forth games with two really, really, really good quarterbacks and good football teams. And in the end of the day, the Bills made a couple more plays.
How has today been? What is the reaction to the Keon Coleman benching, Sal? Like it couldn't have gone worse for him. I mean, they got off in their passing game in a way that they have really been unable to almost entirely this season. So that's not in his favor. Just your reaction to what everybody said about it, and even what today is like regarding his immediate future.
Well, there's a lot there, so let's just kind of walk through all of it, starting with, beforehand and learning that it happened and he was not going to play, and then seeing what the, active list and inactive list was at 11:30, and that became official. And then you wonder how the Bills are going to play it. And you're right, Bulldog. I mean, at this point, after watching that game, let's be honest, didn't the offense look better without Keon Coleman and with Tyrell Shavers and Gabe Davis? I mean, it's just reality. It did. Doesn't mean it has to be like that all the time. But from field level, I will tell you, there were just times where I felt the offense seemed like it was more fluid. And when Josh Allen broke out of structure, more specifically in these instances, where guys just became available more. And he trusted where guys were going to be. I remember one play specifically Gabe Davis just sits down in the zone. He's right there. Josh calmly throws it to him. Josh was rolling right on a play. We saw what happened with Tyrell Shavers and, getting down the field on that particular play. Shavers tells us after the game that's not even what he's really supposed to do, but he had to improvise there because he saw what was happening with Josh, and he understands, what Josh is doing, and that's what you mean. That's what it is. When I mean that's supposed to be what he's supposed to do, you have certain rules in scramble drill, and he had to break his rule in that particular instance, but it turned out to be a touchdown, and that's what I'm talking about. You're right. It didn't go well for Keon Coleman in that regard, which is, hey, I mean, at this point, honestly, is the missing ingredient on the boundary Tyrell Shavers? I'm not kidding. I know it sounds weird to say, but Tyrell Shavers played well. He's a guy. He's got some speed. He's got length. He's got hands. And they played him yesterday as much as any wide receiver. He had the most snaps on the team. Him and Khalil Shakir. Everybody was right around between. I think Gabe Davis was 41%. Everybody else was 49, 50, 51, somewhere in there. He was right there at the top of the list. And he played well and did a really good job. And we know what he's like on special teams and blocking and all those kinds of things that really matter to this coaching staff. I thought Gabe Davis played well. He gets in there. He has 4 catches, or there are 3 catches, 40 yards. It's a nice line. And then after the game, we meet with, we see Keon Coleman coming out of the locker room, stop him and say, hey, do you want to talk to the media? And to his credit, he did. And he just kept reiterating. He took accountability, which, is nice. He kept reiterating, just have to be better. And, that's right, but it's got to be better, and it hasn't been. And then I said to him, when did you find out you weren't playing? He said, well, I knew right away because you can't keep making those mistakes. Well, if you know that, then why are you making them, right? I mean, I guess at this point I would say, from what I know about Keon Coleman, how I've covered him, getting to know him, and from what people have told me, he is a fantastic young kid. He's got a great personality. He's a good kid. He isn't mature enough, and he isn't taking this job. He isn't professional enough yet, I guess is the best way to put it, and that's where the disconnect is right now.
Well, it's not all a coincidence, but for Sean McDermott to have Shavers produce on this occasion with Coleman benched is just what he would love to advertise about what he's trying to do. And Bulldog and I on postgame, Sal, I brought this up. It's a nice, even though he's so open, it's a nice catch by Shavers in the end zone. I mean,
yes, it is.
The ball is not tight, and he's got to think about his feet, and he catches that ball with his hands out in front of his body, the wind and everything. Yeah. So that's one where, I mean, he makes the catch. If he doesn't, it's going to look terrible. It's going to look like an awful drop. But I think it would have been pretty easy to drop given all the conditions. And in the end, McDermott gets the perfect case study, I think. Not that I know Shavers to be an angel or anything, but
the ball finds he who works hard. So he's got an opportunity to say that, which, I don't take it as a jab at Coleman directly, but maybe it is.
Maybe it is, because even if Coleman, not that he's been great, but if they don't have that game with maybe even Shavers contributing like he did, then it's going to be scrutinized, okay, well, guys miss meetings, but we still want the best players on the field, right? And because of Shavers, in part, what happened yesterday, there is not that criticism today.
That's right, and it just reinforces, the message, right? So you're right. I mean, it's like when Sean McDermott now makes that decision, and he made it clear it's his decision, coach's decision after what happened, and then you go out there and that happens, he can just reinforce that, and it does put in question what happens this week. He just spoke, Sean did, with the media a little while ago, and he was asked the question, of course, about this week, Keon Coleman. He just said, we'll see, we'll take it one day at a time. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes. But, I mean, I wouldn't be stunned if he's inactive again. I mean, they were productive on offense. And this time it doesn't have to be a message only so much as an extension of the message. It could simply be because, hey, we want to keep this train rolling.
There are 2 new injuries at the position, though.
Right, yeah.
Right? Or new from yesterday.
Hardman left the game early with a calf injury. Curtis Samuel didn't practice today. And Palmer was limited. That might just be continuing to ease him in after he missed time. But still, maybe an injury is the way back in for Coleman.
Yeah, for sure. It is a walkthrough today with a game on Thursday, right? So, I mean, I don't know how much to read into a lot of this. But Hardman, we did know he left the game with a calf injury. And he didn't return. It's 4 days. In his situation, it's basically he's the punt returner, right? I know he did get a couple snaps in, and they did take a deep shot to him. Not really sure how that would impact Keon Coleman, but certainly numbers-wise, you could look at that. Curtis Samuel, another guy that, has dealt with things. We know that. So we'll see. And then the other one you mentioned was Joshua Palmer. And obviously, like you said, it could be just easing him back in. So a lot of guys on the limited list today. Jordan Poyer, Daquan Jones, Christian Benford, Joey Bosa, Terrell Bernard, Taron Johnson, Dorian Williams, Joshua Palmer, Jordan Phillips. Not practicing today through the walkthrough. Dalton Kincaid, Fedarian Mathis, McCole Hardman, and Curtis Samuel.
With Sal Capaccio for a couple of more minutes, some are calling him our guy, Sal, you and I, Sean Tucker, because he went to Syracuse and you went to Syracuse. And I said on Friday, look out for Sean Tucker. Yep. Only to get Penny Adovich on his show over and over today. It's like, who's Sean Tucker? Like, come on, Sam.
My gosh.
I thought we were friends. So the defense, Sal, I mean, the Bills got away with one yesterday, run on pretty easily in this game. How scary does it look?
It's been scary all year. It has. And I think that, there's been a few games where they've done a nice job, like Carolina. But for the most part, teams have been able to, put up numbers on the Bills. And it's just going to keep happening here. In some regard, I think because of personnel, but they have to do something to try and fix it. But at the same time, we've talked about it before. The best way maybe might be have to just outscore everybody, and that's what they did yesterday. And I don't think it's a great formula to have to do every week. You'd love to have that buttoned up a lot more. This is a Buccaneers team that, without Bucky Irving, hasn't been as good running the ball. I do think that Baker Mayfield getting healthier and him running helped them yesterday, obviously. That hurt the Bills. It's something that hurt the Bills a little bit earlier this year. But Sean Tucker, 106 yards, 5.6 yards a carry. Rashard White, 5.1 yards a carry. I mean, that's just too much. So, yeah, it's concerning. There's no doubt. And you're going to face some teams here who will be able to run the ball a little bit coming up on your schedule. And the weather's starting to turn. So teams are going to have game plans where they're going to want to run the ball and take advantage of that against the Buffalo Bills. So for sure, it's concerning. I did like the way the pass defense played yesterday. And if you do have to choose one or the other to be better at, I would choose pass, but you still give up too much in the run. What really hurt the run, what hurt them against the run yesterday was way too many first and second down decent runs. And that's why the Buccaneers put themselves in very, very good position on third down, and then it becomes a bit unsustainable.
Yeah, I can't imagine, Sal. There's not an easy button fix here, right? I mean, there's no personnel to be added, really. I mean, I know they did grab a guy to the practice squad, Fox, late last week, and maybe he plays some role at some point, but that's a rotational depth piece, basically, I think, at this point. I just wonder, how hard they're working to try to find something that they can count on. If that's personnel, I don't know. Shaq Thompson is back. Maybe he plays a more of a role in place of one of the linebackers. I don't know. But they just, it's never been my favorite thing to complain about because, like you, I'd rather be good at defending the pass. I think that's more valuable. But, man, when a team without their number one running back can run for 200 yards on you in an NFL game, that's not sustainable, I don't think.
No, and right, because the point is, and I've said this many times, it's about controlling the game, right? I mean, you're right. It's not one thing that, oh, my God, the run defense. If teams want to run the ball and you want to make them grind it out, so be it. But when you can control the game, that's what happens. And you can control first and second down, you put yourself in good position, and that's what happened. Now, as you said, Shaq Thompson back, but he was back last week. He didn't play. He was full last week. He still didn't play. He's full again today. I don't know, what the plan is there, but you would think he'd be on the field at some point. I will say I do think Terrell Bernard played much better yesterday than what we have seen. He is still dealing with the ankle injury. I mean, he's up front about it. He's telling us he's dealing with the ankle injury, and he's trying his best to be available and be ready and be able to do the things he can. He has not had the best year, nothing close to what I think his standard is, but he is dealing with the ankle injury. There's no doubt about that, and it's impacting him. But I thought yesterday he filled gaps better yesterday than I had seen in several weeks. He had 2 tackles for loss. He had 2 pass breakups, which is also an indication because he's around the ball more in the passing game. I thought Jordan Poyer did a nice job, but you also saw a couple times where, that athleticism and age getting to him where he's not in the right spot, but he also came down. He filled the hole nicely. So I agree with you. I don't know what the exact answer is here, what the formula is as far as personnel and guys but getting healthy is one thing. And I think that's the big thing they have to start hoping that they can do.
Just a quick, maybe live reaction to this. The NFL just announced a 1-game suspension for Jamar Chase, spitting on Jalen Ramsey.
And they play the Bengals.
They play New England.
I mean, the Patriots.
They play New England,
the Patriots.
right?
Yeah. Great.
Great timing.
Can we appeal?
I know.
Right.
Do the Bills have any say in this?
I mean, I know exactly, right?
We'd like you to serve the suspension
My
some other week.
my immediate reaction is
Week 15.
First of all,
yes,
I know that he said he didn't do it, but it's disgusting and absolutely deserves to be suspended for something like that. And my second immediate reaction is, are you kidding me? It's against the Patriots, right? Of course it is. So, yeah.
Right.
Week 14 is when the Bengals play here. I should have said week 14.
Right,
That's
week
when we
15
want
is
them
when
to.
the Bills play the Patriots again, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That would be fair, the fairest if he was suspended for a game that had nothing to do with the playoff picture. All right. Thanks for your time, Sal. I assume we'll talk tomorrow, right? Short week?
Yeah, we'll talk all week, guys. And then, I'll be with you all week whenever you need me.
Thanks.
All right,
you got it.
Sal Capaccio on the West Shore Hotline. His appearances are brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
Bills now, and not every team has played the same number of games, but rushing yards per game, the Bills rank first in the NFL, and defensively 31st. Only the Bengals have given up more rushing yards per game this year than the Bills have. 803-0550. We'll look for your calls again next and through next hour before Sabres pregame tonight at 6. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, Football Monday. This is WGR. mentioned the Chiefs once yet, and they lost, so it's more fun to talk about. 22-19 Denver. Chiefs are 5-5, so they forgot how to win.
Yes, that's what's happened.
They knew last year. Everybody was like, they know how to win.
And that was, correct me if I'm mistaken, they were coming off their bye, were they not?
They were. I think last year in one-score games they were 11-0, and this year they are 0-5. Any questions?
It's elusive. Your mastery of that it's elusive.
It's almost like you can't always control these things.
Yeah.
Did you watch enough of it to have a take?
Yeah. I think it's interesting that even with their full complement of guys, they can't seem to get people open downfield.
Separation.
Where have we heard this before? I mean, I went so far as to even see one analyst that I follow. Forgive me, I don't remember who said this, but like, what they need is someone on the outside that can separate them. Are we living parallel lives here? You have all the trophies, we have none. But like,
otherwise,
what is happening? But yeah, no, they look disjointed. Denver is excellent on defense, sure. But the Bills made them look kind of disjointed a couple of, 3 weeks ago now. So, yeah, that was I found myself not really knowing what the hell to do watching the game because I was reminded that one of the things I felt best about the Bills winning the Chiefs game, right? Because you were sort of on, what do we do? What are we going to do with this? It's another regular season win over the Chiefs. I'm like, well, the race, and I wanted the Bills to ding them so I could, with a clear conscience, root for them to beat Denver. I sit down to watch the game and I can't do it. I mean, maybe if there were a more immediate stake, like i.e. they win and I take the number one seed over if they beat Denver, maybe I could have gotten there, but I cannot clear-headedly root for the Chiefs. It's not an easy thing to do for me.
They only have under Mahomes the 2 AFC playoff losses. That first full year of him when they lose to New England in that incredible overtime AFC Championship game, and then the Bengal game. Also in overtime. They've not lost an AFC playoff game in regulation with Mahomes. One very keen way to get out of that happening is to just not make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Then you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Nobody can criticize you for losing an AFC playoff game if you just don't even make it. Very 4D chess from the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Joe Ostrowski, he kind of made fun of us 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's very cute, you guys. The Chiefs not to make the playoffs. I bet it while he was talking. Go listen to the first segment of Bet Sweats today. Guess what they talked about the most?
The Chiefs not making the playoffs.
Yep. I was disappointed not to hear our names
right.
mentioned, which we often do.
They have problems that Baltimore with the same record simply do not have.
Ravens win, Steelers loss next week. Ravens are in first in the AFC North from 1-5. 803-0550 for your takeaways from yesterday's Bills win. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR.
Buffalo Bills following their win yesterday against Tampa. They will be traveling to Houston to take on the Texans for Thursday night football. And with that, just a walkthrough this afternoon. 4 players, though, did not practice, according to head coach Sean McDermott. Curtis Samuel, McCole Hardman, Dalton Kincaid, and Fedarian Mathis. While for the Texans, quarterback C.J. Stroud has still not yet cleared concussion protocol. We'll see how all of that develops as the week goes on. But Week 11 still has to wrap up tonight. We do have Monday Night Football. The Raiders do host the Dallas Cowboys. Kickoff at 8:15. And you can listen to that game over on our sister station, the Bet 1520. Coverage over there does start at 7:30. Bad day for the Atlanta Falcons, specifically on the injury front. Quarterback Michael Penix being put on IR with a knee injury, and the belief is this could be season-ending, while wide receiver Drake London is currently undergoing an MRI to understand the severity of his PCL sprain, though he is expected to at least miss this upcoming week. Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase is being suspended 1 game after video showed him spitting on Steelers DB Jalen Ramsey. The Bengals are playing New England on Sunday, and Chase is appealing the suspension. And we do have a quarterback switch with the Jets. They are going with Tyrod Taylor when they take on Baltimore. Sabres game night tonight. Buffalo does host Edmonton at 7. Pre-game starts in about an hour at 6. Both, of course, right here on WGR. All signs pointing to Colton Ellis getting the start in net, and then some injury notes according to head coach Lindy Ruff from this morning. Jason Zucker could return this weekend, and Josh Norris is ahead of schedule after practicing in a non-contact jersey today. But less good news for defenseman Michael Kesselring. He is getting more evaluations and could be out a little bit longer. In college hoops, Niagara's on the road versus Lemoyne. Tip-off at 7. That game is over on AM 1400. And Canisius also on the road and also getting underway at 7. They are taking on High Point. While on the football side of things, Pete Thamel of ESPN, among others, are reporting that Virginia Tech is closing in on making former Penn State head coach James Franklin their next head coach. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
It's Mike and the Bulldog.
Rolls to his right, pocket collapsing, comes back to his left, heaves it down the left sideline for Shavers in the end zone for a touchdown. A broken play goes for 6.
It's so freaking cool. The guy just continues to work extremely hard. He's never once complained, working from practice squad to now making legit plays in the NFL.
Tunnel screen. Ty Johnson threw a hole and up the sideline. 40, 35, 30. It's a foot race. 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Ty Johnson. Back to pass. Steps up in the pocket. Looks for Cook on the wheel route. And he's into the end zone. The Cook is in the kitchen.
Guys make plays. Shaves made a heck of a play. Ty Johnson down the sideline just outrunning people. And then Jimbo making a heck of a catch for that touchdown there too. So it takes everybody.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Football Monday continues here on WGR. Would you like to talk with us about yesterday's Bills win? If so, call 803-0550. We will be here for a while.
I don't know why, and sometimes it's a way someone you talk to all the time says something, it just sort of trips a wire. For some reason, you just sounded a little bit like Kramer with the, why don't you just tell me what movie you'd like to see? Like, would you like to talk to us? Pick up the phone and call. 803-0550.
Movie phone.
Right.
Yeah, go for it. The Bills only have 3 home games left. Bengals, Eagles, Jets. Eagles and Jets are the last 2 games on the schedule. The rest is on the road. So what is that, 4 out of 5? Houston, Pittsburgh, Bengals here, New England, and Cleveland.
Right, back-to-back road games here, then Cincinnati, and then back-to-back road games after that. New England and Cleveland, yeah.
It's an important win, and it was a fun game. But they did not make up ground here again. Kansas City loses to Denver, that's something, but Denver wins. So if you're thinking about the one, you've got still 3 teams ahead of the Bills. The Patriots, most importantly, the Broncos, and now the 8-2 Colts. This Sunday is Colts at Chiefs. Chiefs are 5-5 now. Baltimore home to the Jets. They're a 14.5-point favorite. The Steelers are at the Bears. Aaron Rodgers kind of famously owns the Bears, but has a wrist injury.
Right.
So he might not go in that one. If the favorites win those 2 games, Baltimore and Chicago, Baltimore's in first with 6 games left.
Right. From 1-5.
Yep. They said it wouldn't be that hard, and they were right.
Right.
Do you see their winning play yesterday, Andrews?
I did.
What was going on there?
It's a classic example of a play like that. If folks didn't see it, short yardage, tush push, Andrews under center. And instead of, guys behind him, it looks like it's just going to be, it's 4th and 1 or 4th and inches. I don't even know what it was. But, it's a tush push looking play. And then he just takes the snap and runs around the end. And it works.
Untouched.
He's untouched from where were
35.
They? Okay. It's one of those plays that, the Bills line up the tush push and decide to throw it down the field to Jackson Hawes, and it doesn't work. And it's like, why don't you just snow plow ahead to get the yard? Right, of course, because that should be pretty easy. This play, what could have gone wrong? A lineman could have tripped Andrews, like it happened on one time. The Bills tried a little gadgety thing off of one of those things, and Osiris Torrance tripped Spencer Brown or something, right? But it works, so it's like, wow, what a play call.
And it was 4th down.
Right. Just pretty ballsy. Yeah.
We've got Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Let's see if Andrews can romp down the sidelines untouched for the winning score.
And Cleveland with Shedeur Sanders playing was just that was futility like you hardly ever see on an NFL field.
Yeah.
It was really tough.
Really amazing to see that from the Cleveland Browns.
Right.
Here's Joe with us. Hi, Joe.
Hey, how you doing? 2 things. Jamar Chase getting suspended. He might as well not appeal it. He's going to get suspended. And then I want to hear what you guys have to say. Seems like the long ball opened up a little bit yesterday and kind of opened up the offense a little bit more. Seems like we got our long game back. Gabe Davis was out there quite a bit more than I thought. But what do you think about the passing game having a little bit more longitude than latitude?
It was an encouraging performance. That was the word I used yesterday, and I would continue to describe it that way. I by no means think they are out of the woods in that department because it's been a rough ride, but yesterday was encouraging. They made some personnel decisions. They style-wise made some changes. They threw more on first downs than they have most of the year. They have been the least pass-heavy team on first downs. Neutral score, like, close game, whatever. 1-score game, whatever the metric is. They've been just on the wrong side of that, I would say. And yesterday, didn't exactly tip it on its head, but it was a big improvement. There was more play action, I think, which helps, or can help, certainly. So there was a lot, I think, to be encouraged about. I just hope they can, continue to find the keys to unlocking that. If I have to make the choice, if I've got my pick of all the guys that were available yesterday, and we don't know if they will, it's a short week, and Samuel's hurt, and Hardman left the game early, but I would roll with the same lineup and try to do more of the same. Whether they can do that or not from a personnel standpoint remains to be seen. That's what I would do. I'm encouraged by what we saw yesterday.
I am too, and I'm with you also in that I don't know that it's definitive, but for all the tension building over what they don't do often enough or well enough, here was a game where they did all of that. And we even got so bent out of shape talking about offensive philosophy, like, we don't even care if they turn the ball over. Who cares? Interceptions, who cares? They're the same as punts, whatever. And they did turn the ball over 3 times. They were -3 at one point in this game, I think. And we can still sort of keep going with that. See? 44 points. See? Like, what's the problem? So a win for everybody in that camp, which has been a lot of people. I don't know if the Bills are just going to stay there. Not every game is different. Matchups are different. One matchup being different. Stingley for Houston. Will Anderson. Just one thing being different can mess with all of it. I think the one player yesterday for Tampa Bay, by the sounds of it, Jamel Dean, going out of that game.
Very early. Yeah.
Not much was happening before that. And then after that, it was just easy. The only Bucs defense, anything I even cared about, the whole day from that point was Antoine Winfield Jr. kind of spiking guys. A couple times he threw guys to the field like he was not having it. But probably a pretty big loss in their secondary, and that's what you do, right? You take advantage of that.
Yep.
So I don't know if it'll last, but it was a nice break in the tension yesterday, going from, with this running. Even when they were winning, successfully running the ball like crazy on teams, there's been still that element of, guys,
yeah,
is this sustainable?
The Carolina game really stands out. I mean, that's an easy win where James Cook did he run for 200 yards? Right. So you did whatever you wanted on the ground, but when the game was still sort of, before it got really sideways and the Bills were comfortably in control, when they were trying to pass, the passing game looked horrendous in that game. And yesterday was far from that. And it wasn't all sure, there's the Allen off-script Shavers play. And there's a couple of other scramble plays. Those are always going to be there. But they had stuff drawn up for the running backs. 2 running backs scored on passing plays in this game. And not just like little dinky passes. They were Johnson was from 52 yards out. It was a little pass, but it was schemed up well. And everybody made their blocks. And he was basically untouched. Caught the ball and just ran down the sideline.
Almost 17 yards per pass in this game. Thanks, Joe. Let's go to Mike here. Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Just following up on what you're talking about with the running backs. First game, Cook had 58 yards receiving. They had, going into yesterday's game, 172 yards receiving in all of their running backs, including Cook's 58 yards in that 9-game span. And yesterday they get 127 yards. And what was so nice is that they actually drew up schemes that on both touchdowns, the running back was the primary receiver. It was a play call for that. And I hadn't seen that much this year, if at all. I mean, we went 4 games where Cook had 1 target in 4 games. And I just think that by getting the running backs involved in the pass game, it just opens up the game so much, as we saw yesterday. I've been a pretty much a Brady hater most of the year because I just don't think he's been using his guys properly. But yesterday he really dialed it up with the running backs, and I was impressed.
Well, it was the kind of loss, the Dolphin loss, as we said a lot last week, that might have forced you into, looking pretty hard into the mirror. And if they were stubborn about how they want to play and not, in this case, throwing the ball to Cook, that one is a tough one for this because it was that bad, Miami. So I'm not a big throw the ball to the backs guy, but you're right about what those plays were, and it definitely worked yesterday. It's not something teams would have seen on film very much of, preparing for the Bills. This is not a team that's played the Bills very many times anyway. So you took advantage of it. Let's go to Sean next. Hi, Sean.
Hey, guys. I just had a quick question. We've been speaking a lot about the Bills' woes on defense all year long, but one guy in particular I just wanted to get your comments about was Milano. It seems like he's 2 steps short, or he's not getting the sideline like we're used to seeing. I know Poyer, I think, had 15 tackles yesterday, and I'm just wondering what's going on with Milano and where's he at. Obviously, he's playing when he's healthy, but it really seems like he's losing a step, and it's hard for me to watch. I just wanted to hear your guys' thoughts around that.
I think I share most of your observation / concern. Really, Bernard. We talked about Bernard an hour or so ago with Sal a little bit, and I guess he's up front telling you like he's not healthy. He's healthy enough to play, but all you need to know about Bernard is the play we talked about a couple hours ago already, where Mayfield has him in the open field and just throws a juke, and then and Bernard just can't catch him. I mean, he just can't. Mayfield is, he's plucky and he's gutsy and he's gritty and he's annoying and he's cocky. He's not fast. The one thing he is not is fast. And seeing him continue to gain ground on Bernard running toward the sideline was jarring. I think that tells you he doesn't have what he is used to having, and I think you could say a lot of the same about Milano. The one caveat I would include here is that up front, there's a lot of inexperience up there, and so that can certainly impact how those guys are doing their jobs. They're not being kept all that clean. They might even be feeling like they need to shoot gaps more aggressively than you'd like, which can get them out of position, which can result in some of these big runs. So there's probably some domino effect happening because of their deficiencies up front. But I also think age and / injury is having a day with the Bills linebackers. I think they're in tough there.
This game Thursday needs to not be a game where, well, that looks like yesterday's looked. Houston is just not that team, especially without Stroud, I guess. Not that he's really been that much better since he was a rookie than what Mills is doing, but I mean, even say what you want about who is Sean Tucker, right? He's basically third string.
Yeah.
For the Bucs and looked like a star yesterday. Maybe I should think about that. But Woody Marks should not be able to gash the Bills. They're not. He took over yesterday too, Marks. I mean, they could always change back, but he's playing well over Nick Chubb now in Houston. And Nico Collins is good. We saw that last year. He got the Bills on a long one last year, then left for 5 games after that play. But, we know he's good. They don't throw the ball to Kirk. It's rookies. It's Higgins. It's Xavier Washington, maybe. I'm not even sure. Jalen Knoll. Yeah, right?
Right, yeah.
This is Houston, so you do not want that again Thursday night. Just should not be that hard of a matchup. I think the Bills' offense could have a tough time. I think right now I'd be like, this is a game in the teens.
I'm looking forward to, we have a short week to sort of go through it all. But one thought I had already about that is the strength of that defense. The corners, Stingley's excellent. But the edge guys, right? It's Hunter and it's Will Anderson. And they're a nasty tandem. They're one of the best tandems in the league. I feel like I've got an antidote to that. I trust my guys there. So they'll win some reps. I don't think the Bills, Brown and Dawkins aren't going to shut those guys out, I don't think. But I'm pretty confident that I should be able to handle them down over down, play over play, series over series. Because it's one of the strengths of my team. And, I thought this even how I got there was watching the Chiefs yesterday and thinking about how different the Super Bowl could have been if the Bills had gotten there. Because we know what the Eagles did to the Chiefs and how deficient they were in protecting Mahomes in that game, and maybe the Eagles do the same thing to the Bills. But I remember thinking after the game, my line is one of the strengths of my team, and maybe I would have been more equipped to handle that. And it's part of the reason I think going into this game, I'm not too worried about their edge guys ruining the game for me.
Okay. Will this game be normal uniforms? For once? How many games anymore are like the actual normal uniforms?
I don't know. What is in the normal Houston uniform? Is it the one that they wear that looks like they're the Atlanta Falcons? Because they have a uniform kit that looks like the Atlanta Falcons.
They do. Dark blue, I think, is their norm. They also had the black one that they might have worn to play the Bills last year. All black? I don't know. The Bills are going to wear normal uniforms?
Why would you be striving to try to look more like the Atlanta Falcons is a question I think that needs to be asked more often.
I think that's fair. There should be somebody in every board meeting who thinks like that. Somebody needs to think like that and say it. And guys, we have one problem here nobody's mentioned.
We look like the Atlanta Falcons.
We look like we're trying to look like the Falcons. We need to not do that.
That is not where you want to be.
Especially because the Falcons, not like the 49ers.
Right,
some
exactly.
Cool team.
Right. You want to cop some team that has got a legendarily successful team. Okay, that's weak, but still, all right, I can get with that.
I liked yesterday's combo. Bills in white, Tampa's red.
Yeah, I love that all white. It's the best.
Sabres are missing out this week.
Big time.
Edmonton, Calgary, and Chicago. They're all going to be in white uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a miss.
Yep.
Sabres and Oilers tonight. Paul will join us for pregame at 6, 7 o'clock start. Wednesday's game is at 7:30 against the Flames, and then 7 o'clock Friday for Chicago. No games in Spain anymore in the NFL on the NFL docket.
We're all done.
That's done.
Yep.
No more Europe games. No more Sunday morning breakfast kickoffs. I said on Twitter, imagining myself as a European sports fan, not really that engrossed in the NFL, I could appreciate, the game, the pageantry, the alternate uniforms here and there. I could dig it.
You'd want to be open-minded to learning about it, sure.
You would lose me on half of these official explanations for things.
Oh boy, yeah.
I just would not hang out long enough to have somebody explain to me what the 10-second runoff means and why it isn't happening in this case. Or how when the quarterback is trying to avoid a sack and just throws the ball onto the field, spikes the ball, how that's not, quote, intentional grounding, because where the pocket was and where the line of scrimmage was and where the tight end was, you would lose me here. Somebody tweeted back at me about how, soccer is similar, but soccer only has, 2 things.
Offsides,
goals.
Hands.
Yeah, handball. There's really not that many things that bog down a game. All the fake injuries are a problem.
Yeah.
But there's no list. Football has this ridiculous list. I mean, I want to think that in Spain, somebody's job was to teach wannabe Spanish football fans how to say things in Spanish like replay assist.
Virtual measurement.
Thanks
for it. We got one of those yesterday. It was so expeditious.
Every official and announcer's new favorite is the line to gain. Have you noticed that? Even if it's the end zone, they call it the line to gain. The goal line is now instead the line to gain. Guys, I'm just going to go back to my bocce or something.
One really great thing about having that game early in the timing of it is that you're in front of the TV. And your appetite is there for football. The game ends okay, well, more football. When's the next game? Is in 20 minutes. Let me go. I'll watch some of the pregame show. Oh my God, Bill Cowher's on a mechanical bull, and the other hosts of the show are whipping tiny footballs at him.
Yeah.
What are we? And they're wearing cowboy hats.
Right.
I mean,
I also saw that.
Set the whole thing on fire, put it on a catapult, and just launch it.
Oh, your show is so good.
Into space. It should be space junk. What the hell was that?
I mean, we have it pretty good in here. Imagine trying to sell that. Imagine trying to pass that off as interesting. That you're involved in it.
Right.
And it is like you and I on the ice that one time.
Sure.
In sumo outfits.
Yes, that happened.
Yes. Oh, is this interesting to one person? Yeah. No. No. Most of these ideas are not even worth trying.
There were team logos on the little footballs. I don't know what.
That was the funniest part because when they get on the bull, they're making an argument for why whoever the team is they're talking about is going to hold on.
Oh, I get it.
Right. That was what they were.
Yeah.
I think the Tampa Bay you're trying so hard. Yeah, same as you. That game ended 20 minutes too early.
Right.
Even though it went to it went to overtime.
Yes.
But then
it needed to go
Mariota
longer.
got picked off. We needed 20 more minutes to the number.
Right, because I would have missed all that.
It would have been so good to miss that.
Yeah.
Football Monday, 803-0550 without the mechanical bulls and tiny balls. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here. This is WGR.
Houston to take on the Texans for Thursday night football. And with that, they had just a walkthrough this afternoon. 4 players, though, did not practice, according to head coach Sean McDermott. Curtis Samuel, McCole Hardman, Dalton Kincaid, and Fedarian Mathis. Well, something to keep an eye on for the Texans. Quarterback C.J. Stroud still has not yet cleared concussion protocol. Week 11, though, is going to wrap up tonight with Monday Night Football. The Raiders do host the Dallas Cowboys. Kickoff at 8:15. You can also listen to that game over on our sister station, the Bet 1520, coverage starting there at 7:30. Bad news for Atlanta today. Quarterback Michael Penix could be out for the season with a knee injury. He is at least going on IR. The early signs are pointing to season ending, with wide receiver Drake London also joining him on the injury list, though he is undergoing an MRI to understand the severity of a PCL sprain. He has not gone on IR, but is expected to miss at least this week. And Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase is being suspended 1 game after video showed him spitting on Steelers defensive back Jalen Ramsey. Bengals are playing New England on Sunday, and Chase is appealing his suspension. For the Sabres, it is a game night tonight. Buffalo does host Edmonton. 7 o'clock start time, pregame in about a half hour at 6, both, of course, right here on WGR. And all signs pointing to Colton Ellis getting the start in net. And in college hoops, Niagara on the road versus Lemoyne, tip-off at 7. That game is going to be over on AM 1400. And Canisius also on the road tonight, tipping off also at 7. They, though, will take on High Point. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet celebrating 90 years of being your hometown dealership. I'm Zach Jones for WGR Sports Radio 550.
There are different paths or journeys. Do we want it to have happened before now? Yes. He would tell you the same thing. The important piece is that he learns from this, as I said yesterday, and he grows from this. You grow from it, we can move forward. You don't grow from it, it's hard to move forward. So ultimately becomes about developing trust.
Bills coach Sean McDermott on Bulldog's decision to get a white pizza on Friday.
Excellent choice.
We can all grow and learn from it. If we grow and learn from it, we're fine, okay? Nobody's perfect. Keon Coleman, we'll see if he gets the call Thursday night. One hand, they scored 44 points in one and looked like they might have solved a lot of what was ailing them. On the other, Curtis Samuel is hurt now, and so is McCole Hardman, so they might have an opening or two for Coleman. Would he be next? I think he'd be next as long as they want him.
Yeah, I mean, I think if 2 guys are out, it would be really newsworthy if he didn't get the call.
Yeah.
I think if only 1 guy's out, Elijah Moore was scratched yesterday, so, you could. But, I definitely don't think his season is over. But if it doesn't turn around, like whether or not he flies straight, that matters to all of this. Obviously, because if he continues to have, tardiness problems, whatever, lack of attention to detail, he's going to get disciplined again and maybe permanently. So there's that. If he plays and nothing happens, then you're also going to have an answer. Like I at this point, I would bet on them trying to move him in the offseason. I think it's part of the reason why I would expect him to get back in the lineup so that his value doesn't completely crater. But even still, like if he gets back in the lineup and just does what he's done so far, what are you getting for him next spring? A 5th? I mean, I don't think you're going to do very well. So it's a tough situation. But I think they've been frustrated by him longer than we know.
Here comes Kaleki Latu, by the way, as well.
Right.
Tight end.
Right.
1 catch, but he's in the book.
He looks more like a big receiver than a tight end to me. He's pretty slight. Got a pretty slight
He's
build.
lanky?
Yeah, he's wiry even, I might go with.
I don't think a tight end can be wiry.
That's what he looked like to me.
Okay.
He looks slender.
Might have been that 83 on his...
Yeah.
Although that was Lee Smith. Did he wear 83? I know there was a guy a long time ago who wore 83 with some distinction.
Dave Moore wore 83.
Dave Moore.
Yeah.
All right, it's been a tight end's number then.
Yeah.
At times.
Since Andre, yeah.
Kaleki Latu. Who was that?
He's a thin tight end.
He's a lanky, wiry
tight
Bills
end.
tight end who caught his first NFL pass yesterday.
Right, he got a pass.
He's from Sacramento. That's all I got.
All right.
Let's go to Mark next. Hello, Mark.
Yeah, they signed Latu off the Buffalo Gladiators. But, hey, anyways, the question we had was, with the change in philosophy, with the deeper passes and everything, who do you think had the most influence in that decision? Was it Josh? Do you think it was McDermott or Brady? I'd love to be a fly in the wall on some of those meetings last week. So love to hear what you guys think about that.
Well, I would be guessing, but I would guess Allen, because their general philosophy has been very well established, and it was not built by accident. It was intentional. The players on the roster, the style of play, and they've done lots of winning. We've made this point many times. So why would they come off it? The Dolphin game might have been that game, though, where, all right, well, we need another move. And they changed personnel. The Coleman stuff played into it. Injuries played into it. They didn't have Kincaid. Kincaid doesn't sit if he's healthy.
No.
And then it's Gabe Davis time and McCole Hardman, and what are these guys good at? Hardman is a speed guy. They didn't really go to him a lot, but, he was in the game.
Yeah, they took one deep shot to him. There's a deep ball to Samuel where Samuel's open, and that's maybe a win ball. I don't know. Like, Allen overthrows that. The Shavers play is not a designed deep shot. Allen even said it himself, and Shavers said he did not. It's a scramble drill, and even in a scramble drill, I think the way Sal explained it, Shavers said he sort of ignored his own rules. He's decided, like, I'm going to present myself as open down here, and Allen loved it and went for it. I mean, Allen, even after the game, said on that play, there are two, and if you watch the play, again, back from overhead view, there are two guys short. I think he said it's Davis and maybe the running back. I can't remember who. I think Davis was one of them. Maybe it was Shakir. Whatever. There's two guys on smaller, short routes to Allen's left. He's looking left the whole time. He drops back, decides not to take those, starts running around a little bit, and spots Shavers running down the sideline and just chucks it up to him. So that's not a coach's decision. That's not a philosophical shift. That's just Shavers made a play. If Shavers decides not to run to the end zone, I don't know, maybe Allen just runs for 3 yards.
Yeah.
So I want to be careful about, philosophical and who's responsible. Like, that is just an extemporaneous happy accident.
And two of these touchdown passes are short passes to running backs. Well, the Cook pass wasn't that short, but Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also would want to be a little bit careful too. Okay, this is different now. Games can be like that. And they had to score. They had to push because of their defense not being able to stop anything.
And they couldn't really run it.
The Bucs were generous. The Bucs punted 4 times. First time from the Bills 39. Second time from the Bills 43. The third time was 4th and 1. They were deep in their own end, and that's the play on which Hardman fumbles, so they keep the ball. So obviously that was the right decision. And then the last time, 7.5 left, down 2 or 5. What's the score? 4th and 2 at their own 39. Like I said before, who do they think they're playing? Just really bad. I met randomly a few Bucs fans out last night after the game, and I guess I might have said this too, but they would have known it better than I. Like, welcome to Todd Bowles.
Yep. It's a 5-point game at that point, 37-32.
37-32.
The Bills go down and ice it with the touchdown to make it 44-32.
Okay.
Yep.
Just, Bowles said something today about that last one, like 4th and 1, they go, 4th and 2 is too far. Oh my gosh. Why, they're not going to throw a pass? That's what they would do. That's what they were doing on short yardage. On the running backs had a day, but they would still. What difference does it make?
Yep.
Just really bad.
Put it in the old "what would you rather they do" machine.
Sure.
And ask yourself, right? Like I'm watching that. I know the situation. I'm like, oh, please punt.
Totally.
Look, running like crazy all day does not guarantee that you are going to get 2 yards on the ground in that situation. But still, I would have been very nervous about a little rollout, play action pass, something that I would have expected them to make it if they went for it.
That second punt is with 1:17 left in the half, and they're up 3. And that's one of those where I think you really got to see the whole board. And you'd love to be able to end the half with the ball. One of those deals. They punt, they get it back. The Bills score a touchdown right away, 92-yard drive in like a minute. Not even a minute. And that's the half ends on the Bucs block the field goal, but then there's a penalty and they end up getting a field goal out of it. Also, what's the end of the game all about? Why are they calling timeouts only to get the ball back and put Bridgewater in to kneel once? Why would you do any of that? Why would you do both of those things? You're stopping the clock. You're down 12, and you're under 2 minutes. I mean, it's bleak.
Yeah.
But I'm going to use the timeouts to try to get a possession out of it, and then I get the possession with 38 seconds to go, and I put the backup in. Mayfield wasn't expecting it.
Right, he looked like he was ready to walk back out on the field.
And they put Bridgewater in to just take a knee. What was the point?
I don't know, but remember this next time we see Todd Bowles on the other sideline, so I have something to complain, to be aggravated,
Something you like about him if you're playing him.
Make fun of him for.
The guy's had lots of success, but
yep.
They've got Mayfield, they've got some talent. They do not have the internet. Because these were not all, as bad as each other, but how does that make any sense? He just changed his mind? You know what? Never mind. I'll use the timeouts. I'm successful at it because now the Bills are punting to me. Never mind. There's only if they block the punt or something, they would.
I don't know. The 4th and 2 from the 39 is the crime. Like that's
number one.
That's the really. I mean, what are you doing here?
Read the room.
I mean, you've given up 37 points to this point in the game, and you're what you think? Well, they haven't really run it, so they're probably going to try to run it because they're going to try to eat clock. So I'll just give them the ball back. I don't know.
85-yard touchdown drive.
It's a mystery to me.
Helped by a very big face mask penalty.
That series was going to end right there. That's right.
Would have been like a 46-yard field goal attempt.
In the wind, yeah, that would have been dicey.
Bills over the Bucs, 44-32. We'll talk about it for a couple more minutes. Sabres pregame at 6. Edmonton in town. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, Football Monday on WGR.
you?
It's my headphones. It's the beginning.
The beginning of
the end.
It's the end. Yeah,
I could hear the music, but not my voice.
Mine are in disrepair as well.
I bet the listeners loved it.
Oh yeah,
they'd love to be able to hear the music and not my voice. Sabres pregame at 6. Oilers at Sabres tonight. A couple more NFL nuggets from the weekend. The Bears are in first place alone at 7-3. The Vikings kicked off with the lead and 50 seconds to go. You know what happened?
They got driven on and got beat with a field goal at the gun.
Basically, the kickoff return did them in. 56-yard kickoff return.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing a lot of big returns. And then 3 runs and the field goal to beat the Vikings. This is distracting me. Carolina, what? How many yards? Bryce Young? That was the quarterback we needed to be picking up if our guy was on bye or was hurt or something, was Bryce Young. Okay. How about fantasy sweats? I've got a couple, like, medium sweats tonight. Long shots, maybe.
Yeah.
Even.
I need Jake Ferguson to not get. We might have like a 6 or 7 point lead. I think we're in pretty tough.
Against Ferguson?
Yeah, that's it. Like
PPR, Bulldog?
It's Paul's league. I don't know what the hell it is.
I think it's full point.
I loathe it.
So 3 for 40 beats you?
Whatever you say.
Okay. I need 26 from Genty.
Good luck with that.
Be a lot. 140 and 2 scores is 26 without a catch. That might be the kind of game I need there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big game. I've got one down 37 with Ferguson and Lamb. How live am I there? As the Ferguson hater in the room.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a tough question to ask me.
25 and 12, Lamb and Ferguson. It's doable.
It's not crazy.
Love a shootout.
But you should get one.
And I got to fade Pickens. That doesn't feel good. He's my version of your Ferguson tonight.
I see.
Pickens.
Yeah.
That's working. He's going to be a free agent.
Yes, he is.
He might be the number one get. Is that right? If he gets to free agency? I don't know. I don't have the list.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm so scared of him.
What, like being on your team?
Yeah, he's one of the. Yeah, he's. I mean, the upside is tremendous. He's through the roof, but he also just doesn't. I haven't seen the cut-ups this year, but I know in Pittsburgh there was always, he's taking plays off and just kind of he's a knucklehead.
Can't have that.
No.
Do we already have that? A little bit.
Seems like maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Not a great look for Coleman to me dancing during pregame. Like he's in a parka and like the music's playing and his teammates are all getting loose and he's just looks like he doesn't have a care in the world and like I don't know. I don't want to draw dramatic conclusions about it, but I think it's a bad look. I think you've been smacked by your team. You've been disciplined. And, I don't need you to stand in the corner saying a rosary, but I don't know, man. Looking like you don't have a care in the world is not appropriate to me. I did not like seeing that. For his own sake, I just didn't like seeing it.
I'm not going to want to see it from Alex Lyon tonight.
Right.
On the bench.
No.
No, that's a bad comparison. He didn't get suspended or anything. He's just not going to start. Right. Forced it. Some sort of... Anyway. The Sabres host the Oilers. We'll have pregame with Paul Hamilton after the update. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, Football Monday on WGR.